Good morning, students. This is my lecture number 2, subject Physical Education, class 12, chapter number 3, Yoga and Lifestyle. And in this lecture, we are also going to discuss the answers of homework questions from lecture number 1. Before moving towards the lecture number 2, we are going to have a recap of lecture number 1. So, in lecture number 1, we did meaning and types of asanas, benefit of asanas as preventive measures, meaning of obesity, asanas to prevent cure obesity, and under that we did Vajrasana and Padhastasana. So we are going to continue with the same asanas which actually prevent and cure obesity. The third asana is Urdhva Hastasana. The procedure is stand straight with your arms at your side. So as you can see in the first image in the slide, the individual is standing all straight with his arms on his side. So this is how you have to stand. This will be the initial position of starting the asana. Then gently raise them to the ceiling. You have to raise your arms upward. Make sure that your arms are parallel to each other. So you have to make it sure while raising your arms, they should all go together and they should be parallel to each other. You can also bring your palms together over your head. This is what you can see in the second image. The person has actually joined the palms. While doing this, make sure your shoulders are not hunched. That means when you are bringing your arms together, you don't have to hunch your shoulders forward. The shoulders will be straight in their position. If your palms are apart, then they must face each other. As you can see in the third image, the person's palms are apart and the palms are actually facing each other. Your arms must be straight at all the times. So the arms will be straight. You don't have to bend your elbows. Move your gaze upward. Now what we have to do here is we just have to look upward. You don't have to move your head upside. You just have to look upward. Your shoulders must be away from the ears. That means you don't have to elevate your shoulders. The shoulders will be away from the ears and shoulder blades must be pressed firmly. Now the benefits and contraindications. The first benefit is it gives belly a full stretch. So while performing this asana, when you move your arms upward, the whole body stretches and which also gives belly a full stretch. It helps or it improves digestion. It relieves stress and anxiety. It enhances body posture. It eases sciatica. The contraindications are in case of shoulder or neck injury or experiences dizziness while starting upward, this asana should be avoided. So if anyone who is having any kind of injury in their shoulders or neck, one should not perform it. And if you feel dizziness while performing this asana, you should stop the performing of asana. Fourth asana is Trikonasana. The procedure is, first of all, stand with legs apart, then raise your arms sideways up to the shoulder level, which you can see from image number 2 and 3. And the individual is standing with legs apart and both of his hands are sideways at the shoulder level. Bend your trunk sideways and raise the hand, right hand upward. Now what you have to do is you have to bend the trunk sideways and raise the right hand upward. Touch the ground with left hand behind the left foot. So what you have to do is then you have to touch the ground with your left hand. After some time you can do the same asana with the opposite arm in the same way. So you can see the final position photo here. I have given it where you have bent sideways. One of your hand, it might be right or left, it depends on from which side you actually starts it. Whichever arm, so you one arm will be up, another arm will be down touching the ground. This is how you have to perform it, and after performing it at one side, you have to do it in the other side also. So the benefits and contraindications of Trikonasana, it strengthens legs, knees, arms and chest while doing this asana or performing this asana, the posture which we take, it actually strengthens legs, your knees, arms and chest, because all are stretched properly, and that particular stretching improves your strength. That is why the muscles of legs, knees, arms and chest are strengthened. Point number 2 is it increase mental and physical equilibrium. Why? Because while performing this asana, you have to maintain a balance in that posture. You have to stand in a balanced and stable way. That is why it increases the mental and physical equilibrium. It helps in reducing anxiety, back pain, and sciatica. The fourth one is it enhances blood circulation. Now the contraindications of Trikonasana. If you are suffering from diarrhea, low or high blood pressure or back injury, avoid doing this asana. So if you have diarrhea or if you have low or high blood pressure or you have any kind of back injury, please avoid doing this asana. Second one is the individual having cervical spondylosis should not perform this asana. The fifth asana is Ardh Matsyendra Asana. Now here the procedure which is given here, it might be a bit hard for you to understand. That is why I have given you the step by step images also in your slide, so that it will be easier for you to understand how this asana is to be performed. And as I said in your last lecture also, that while understanding or learning this asana, please try and perform these asanas at home, so that it will be easier for you to learn these asanas in a proper way. So the procedure of this asana is the left heel is kept under the right thigh and right leg is crossed over the left thigh. So understanding one thing is, while sitting or while starting the initial position, you have to bend your knees first, then the left heel is kept under the right thigh. So what you have to do, you have to move your right leg and cross it over the left thigh as it is shown in figure number 8 in 3 in your slides. After that, hold the right toe with the left hand and turn your head and back to the right side. So what you have to do is, now you have to twist your torso to the side and you have to touch your right toe with the left hand, and the right hand will be going backwards. In this position, move the trunk sideways. As I said, you have to twist or you have to move your trunk to the sideways. Then perform the asana in the same way in the reverse position, means where you have to touch your left toe with your right hand. So you can do vice versa. It can be done in both the ways. And I have also given you the image, the final position from both the sides. It is figure number 5, and the figure above it there is an image where you can see front and back sides of how you are going to perform the Matsyendra Asana. Now we are going to do the benefits and contraindications of the asana. The first one is it helps gallbladder and prostate gland healthy. So it enhances the working efficiency of gallbladder and prostate gland. It enhances the stretchability of the back muscle while performing this asana, as you have to stretch your back on both the sides. That is why the stretchability of the back is enhanced. It elevates digestive ailment. Ailment means if there is any trouble in digestive system, it also eliminates it and make digestive system working efficient. It regulates the secretion of adrenaline and bile, and thus is recommended in yogic management of diabetes. So this asana just not help in preventing and curing obesity, but it also helps in the management of diabetes. The fifth one is it is also helpful in treating sinusitis, bronchitis, constipation, menstrual disorder, urinary tract disorder, and cervical spondylitis. These are the meanings of the various diseases we have already talking about. The sinusitis is the inflammation in nasal sinus. Bronchitis is the inflammation of the mucous membrane in the bronchial tubes. Cervical spondylitis is a general term of age related wear and tear affecting the spinal disc of the neck. So please underline it in the books and write the meanings there. Now the contraindications of this asana, the first one is women who are 2 or 3 months pregnant should avoid this asana. So women, those who are those who are pregnant of 2 or 3 or above that should not perform this asana. Second is the individuals who have problem of sciatica or slip disc may benefit from this asana, but they need to take great care while doing this asana. So it is beneficial for the people those who have slip disc or sciatica, but still while performing this asana they have to take great care of themselves while performing this asana so that they don't have any kind of trouble or pain while doing it. So now we are going to start with the subtopic 3.3, which is diabetes, procedure and benefits and contraindications of preventive asana. Before starting talking about the asanas, we are going to discuss diabetes first. So it is a disease in which the body's ability to produce or respond to the hormone insulin is impaired. So we can understand that in this disease, the body's ability to produce insulin is impaired. That means the insulin is not produced in sufficient amount, or even if the insulin is produced but the body does not respond to it in a proper way, because of which there is a abnormal metabolism of carbohydrates and elevated level of glucose in the blood, which means the metabolism of carbohydrate is not done in an efficient way, it is abnormal, and there will be an increase in the level of glucose in the blood. The next or the second definition is when our body does not produce sufficient amounts of insulin, or when insulin does not work properly, diabetes occur. So both the definition says the same thing, the language is different. Whichever definition you find easier, you can write or you can learn that definition. Now we are going to do the types of diabetes. In type 1 diabetes, the pancreatic gland does not produce insulin. Hence, injection of insulin is required daily for its treatment. So in type 1 diabetes, what happens is the pancreatic gland does not produce insulin, and the amount which is required in the body of insulin is more, and the supply of insulin is less, because of which we have to give injections of insulin for its treatment. As we were talking earlier, that diabetes can occur in two ways. One, where insulin is not produced, so this is type 1 diabetes, and in type 2 diabetes the body does not produce sufficient amount of insulin hormone, or hormone is produced sufficiently but it is not used properly by the body. So in type 2 what happens is the hormone is produced by the body in a sufficient or in non-sufficient amount, but still the body is not able to use it in a proper way. So there are two types of diabetes. So now we are going to start with the asanas which helps in preventing and curing diabetes. The first asana is the Bhujangasana. The procedure now. In this asana, the shape of the body remains like a snake. That is why it is called Bhujangasana. So the final position of the body looks like a snake. As you can see it in image number 5 and the image which is given down in the page, that the body posture looks like a posture of a snake. That is why it is known as Bhujangasana. Now, in order to perform this asana, lie down on the belly on the ground. So, like you can see that in image number 1, keep your arms or hands near the shoulder. So, you are going to keep your hands near the shoulder level on the ground. Keep your legs close together. Both the legs will be touching each other and will be all closed. Now, straighten up your arms, slowly raise the chest. Now, as you can see in image number 3 as well as in image number 4, what you have to do is you have to come up, raise up, and you have to straighten your arms. The elbows will be all straight and you are going to raise your chest upward. Your head should turn backward, as in the image you can see down there that the person is looking upward, his head is turned backwards. Keep this position for some time. So you have to hold in this position. You can use counts till 10, 20, or you can even see the time while doing it. In the initial timings when you actually start it, when you are a beginner of doing it, don't do it more than 10 to 13 seconds, 15 seconds. And if you do it on a regular basis, then you can increase the number of countings as well. Then get back to the normal position. For good result, perform this asana 3 to 5 times continuously. So the whole procedure is to be repeated 3 to 5 times so that you can have a better result. Now the benefits and contraindication of the asana. The first benefit is it elevates obesity. So this asana helps in reducing the body fat, the extra body fat in the body. Second benefit is it provides strength and agility. It provides both strength and agility. Agility is when you perform different movements of the body in a balanced way. So while performing it from the initial to the final position, you actually try and hold your body in a balanced and stable position. That is why it helps and provide you agility. It cures disorders of urinary bladder. It also helps in better functioning of urinary bladder. It cures the disease of liver. It cures gas disorders, constipation, and indigestion. That means it also helps in a proper functioning of digestive system. It strengthens the muscles of the hand. While you perform this asana, you might have seen it that the body weight, the half of the body weight is on your hand, so it also strengthens the muscle of hand. Contraindications: this asana should be avoided by individuals who suffer from hernia, back injuries, headaches, and recent abdominal surgeries. People those who have hernia, back injuries, headaches, or have went through some kind of abdominal surgery which is done recently, they should not perform this asana. Second is pregnant women should not perform this asana. The second asana is Paschimottanasana. The procedure of this asana is sit on the ground with legs forward, as you can see it from image number 1 that individual is sitting with the legs forward. Then hold the toes of your feet with the fingers of both the hands. So what you have to do is now you have to bend forward and try and touch your toes with the fingers of both the hands. Then breathe out slowly and try to touch the knees with your forehead. The second thing which you have to do is now breathe out, exhale, and try to touch your forehead with your knees. After that, breathe in slowly, raise your head upward and come to the prior position. So after it, what you have to do is you have to inhale and raise your head upward and come to the initial position, which was you just have to sit with the straight legs on the ground. So what we are doing here is that from the initial position where your legs are forward straight, don't bend your knees, you have to move or bend forward, try and touch your toes with both the hands, breathe out, exhale, and try and touch your forehead with the knee. Don't bend your knee. See, whatever you are doing, it does not mean that you have to be very perfect while doing it. If you are a beginner, if you are trying it at home or performing it at home, so you can even just try. Just don't force yourself in doing that, because if you will be forcing your body in doing it, you might have pain. So do it in a very slow manner and do it according to your body, and if you do it on a regular basis, you are going to increase your flexibility for sure. So after exhaling, as I said, you have to try to touch your forehead with the knee. After that, again inhale and raise your head upward and come to the initial or the prior position. Perform this asana at least 10 to 12 times again. This is the procedure which is given here, but if you are performing it at home, you can do it for like 5 times, 6 times if you are a beginner. So here you can see from the image number 3 or the next image which I have given here, that this will be your final position of Paschimottanasana asana. So now we are going to do the benefits and contraindication of the asana. The first benefit is it elevates gas trouble. So while performing this asana, as you might have seen, that you have to press your knees or press your knees or thighs towards the chest, which actually pushes the abdomen region and which helps in eliminating the gas problems. It helps in early ossification of bones. So ossification is the abnormal formation of bones. This asana also helps in preventing it. It is a good remedy for constipation. People, those who have constipation, can perform this asana and they can also have benefits from performing this. It helps to overcome several menstrual disorders. It gives relief from sciatica, back pain and asthma. So this asana can also be used from giving relief you from asthma. The sixth one is it reduces obesity. So it also helps in reducing obesity. Seventh is it is helpful in treating abdominal diseases. So from the benefits you can see that point number 1, point number 3 and point number 7 all are related to your digestive system. And last point is vertebra becomes flexible and healthy. So while we are performing this asana in the final position, when we are into the final position, that time the vertebra is stretched, because of which it becomes more flexible and healthy, because it is strengthened also. Now the contraindication. The first contraindication is if you are suffering from enlarged liver or spleen or acute appendicitis, you should never do this asana. If you have any of these problems, you should not perform this asana. Avoid doing this asana if you suffer from any respiratory disease. So if you have any problem in which the respiratory organs are related, you should not perform this asana. If you have any back or spinal problem, make sure that you perform this asana only under the expert guidance. So if you have any problem in your spine or back, please make it sure that you are taking some expert guidance while doing this asana. Now the homework for lecture number 2. Question 1, explain diabetes. Question number 2, explain the procedure of Trikonasana. Question number 3, explain the benefits and contraindications of Paschimottanasana. Now we are going to discuss the answers of questions which were given in the homework from your lecture number 1. Question number 1 is define asana. Answer is asana is that position which is comfortable and steady. This is the one definition which I have given you in the last lecture. You may also write the other definition which was told you in the last lecture. Question number 2 is explain asanas as preventive measures. Now see, it depends on the marking scheme that if you get this answer, if you get this question for 3 marks, you are going to write at least 3 points, and if you get this question for 5 marks, you have to write at least 5 points from the chapter. Now the answer. So asanas as preventive measures. The first one is bones and joints become strong. The bone, cartilage, ligaments become strong. Height of children is enhanced. The joints are able to bear more pressure. Flexibility of the joints improved. Partial deformities are also prevented and corrected. Muscles become more strong. The efficiency of muscle increases. Fat does not accumulate in the body. The third one is circulation of blood becomes normal. Stroke volume as well as cardiac output increases because cardiac muscles start working more strongly and efficiently. The level of cholesterol reduces. The lactic acid and acid phosphate are secreted from muscles quickly and easily, which reduces fatigue. You can write this answer in a paragraph manner as I have written, but you can also write it in the point wise manner. Both the ways are correct of writing the answer. Question number 3 is explain Vajrasana and its benefits. Answer. Procedure of Vajrasana is kneel down on the ground or floor with your knees, ankles and toes touching the ground. Your toes should be stretched backward. Now place your palms on the knees. The upper body should be straight. At this time, the breathing should be deep, even and slow. Benefits of Vajrasana are: it is useful in improving concentration. It is helpful in curing dysentery, back pain and chest disease. It enhances memory power. It cures mental stress. Question number 4 was explain the benefits, contraindications of Padhast Asana. The benefits of Padhast Asana are: it makes body flexible, it stretches the back and leg muscle, it helps to eliminate excess body fat, it improves digestion and reduces constipation, it cures many stomach ailments, it makes the spine flexible, it improves the blood circulation. The contraindications of Padhastasana are: the individual who have back pain should avoid this asana. At least they should not bend forward fully. So this is the end of lecture number 2. Thank you.